What's up, everybody? My name is Parker Immense.
My name's Danny Ferrari.
And we are Excellent Sound. Today, we have the production segment with Viperactive.
Let's fucking go.
Hopefully, you guys saw the podcast episode with him. It was amazing. Now, we get to dive into some production, get sweaty.
Let's get real sweaty.
And let's get ready.
Dun, dun.
You are for sure a sweat when it comes to I would classify you as a sweat, which is
dude.
sick.
Yeah,
I've been
sure.
sweating all this time, and I'm still like just fucking locked silver or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So, we're going to open up some project files. What's this first one? This is an ID? Is this coming out? What's happening with this?
So this song is called Anxious. It's dropping in March. And it is cool and so nice and so fun.
Show the people what we got here, bro.
Okay, so yeah, we'll run a bit of it.
Do it like that. Turn up. Do it like that.
So yeah, there she blows.
She is blowing.
Oh, she's flowing.
She's full steam
She
blowing,
is
bro.
Flowing
full-on
and blowing.
Holy shit, bro. We got to
So-
talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Should I just kind of go group to start?
When you're writing a drop like this, what is your process and how are you able to put so many cool sounds together and make them all feel like memorable too? Because that's not an easy thing to do, to have a lot of sounds like this that are, you know. So yeah, what's your process when writing a drop? That's the simple question.
Yeah, so the you were talking about the one shot and the push pull. I think
Yes.
that's like a good way of putting it, right? So you know, the bah whoa like does not only exist in this song, it exists in a lot of like my favorite songs.
Yeah, the
right.
influence
So
of it.
you know, even like back when I was making dubstep, like the Virtual Riot used to talk a lot about the purple Lamborghini
Yeah.
yoink, right? Everyone has talked a lot about the purple Lamborghini yoink. So that's a great example of brass yuck. You know, this trope, this boom, this 1 2 snare, ba 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 ba,
Yeah.
right? Is a EDM trope, EDM
Yes.
super secret dead
For
mouse
sure.
That's
mode.
a perfect
Yeah.
word for it. It's a trope.
Right. A part you were talking about like how to like, you know, get the sounds to be like memorable and stuff. I think that comes from a lot of sample choice. So when I'm first sketching a drop, it will suck for a bit, and sometimes it's just like the idea I know is good and I'll just trust that the idea is good because I like it, but like it's not produced well. So I have the original version of this one here, which was written 5 years ago. So 2020. I don't know. I made it. I was vibing out. Again, the sounds suck. I knew the sounds sucked when I listened to it in the car for the first time. And I was like, I like the whole thing. I just hate how it sounds. So I'm going to keep it and eventually turn it into something. So it originally sounded like this. It was a remix of a Sleeping with Sirens song. Oh, here.
Do it like that. Turn up. Do it like that.
So all of the writing is basically exactly the same.
Yeah.
The placement of the one shots, everything like that, right? But for instance, like listen, I mean that first bass hit, like I know in my like little producer brain that this bass hit is like too boxy and it's not like, you know, it doesn't have the like gritty feel that you want.
I actually like that bass quite a bit, but yeah, the new one sounds better for sure.
Right, yeah, it's just like too boxy, too many mids. You know, it turned into
that's
a
way
much
cleaner.
juicier thing. And yeah, I mean, just about every sound has this kind of case going on with it. I was like in love with saturators at the time, so I was just oversaturating everything. One of the only sounds that ended up almost staying the same is this, I call it like an eagle cry almost. But the whomp thing, like just not quite how I'd, super weak brass. Yeah, so that was the vibe there at the time. I hung on to it. When I finally felt like my production was like there, I was feeling really good about my mix downs at the time, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, all right, let me go back to like this one and really dive into it. And that's what I did. I just dove into every single sound and got heavy with like layering. So a lot of the one shots are made out of layers now.
So you only retried it one time.
This has been retried probably like 4 times.
Okay. So you did try it a couple other times, and it wasn't until this time that it was like, this is the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
got it.
But
so
for
the layering.
instance, yeah, like you have that guy,
A
all
lot
the
of delay on
sides.
them too. I like that.
Oh yeah, and that's for the push pull, right?
Yeah. It cuts.
And it still plays under the womp, but like it's there. It's in the sides. Okay, and then you have OTT smear. And then the
OTT
end,
smear.
the end
I
of the
love
OTT
that.
smear. So I'll add that into sounds when I don't have the processing right to actually get the OTT on them. So there's that. Same thing probably with
That's really
the
interesting
womp.
too, because we would
I
do that
love
too.
that
We
sound, yeah.
resample the smear of the OTT as well, but I like how you're
We made it
layering
glitches
It's,
out of 'em.
It's part of a layer.
Yeah, using
Right.
it like a texture.
Yeah.
It's a really cool
Yep.
idea.
Yeah, someone who's really good at that, Space Leases, right?
Oh,
like
that
his
makes
stuff
sense.
is so like like he literally has like layers of static
Right.
sometimes over his stuff,
Yeah.
and like it's just side chaining, and it just crunches. It just makes the whole midsection feel like it sits in like a space that's
Yeah.
Juicy and it almost feels like heat. It feels hot in a way. Without the smear, it's just that. And if you like take away the smear, it just kind of
Yeah, it kind of kills it a little bit.
there's too much silence. Silence is great, by the way. Now
Yeah.
I'll talk about that because this drop has a lot of it. But yeah, I mean, I wanted it to really lead into that whoomp and get the
Yeah.
push pull right. So
Yeah, it adds the character to it
yeah,
for sure.
it's like a layer of this sound, but and I wasn't thinking of this when I made it, and like I don't usually think of this, but like I mean, looking at it just here and the reason that it works, it's a layer of this sound, but it's really a pre-flick of the woo. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
super nerdy.
it
but
What is
like,
this
No,
smear
no, you're
from?
right,
Is it
you're
from the
right.
original bass right there? Did you?
No, completely different. So this
You
is
just had this
something that I'll
pre-recorded
also
from
talk a
something
lot
else?
about. Yeah, I mean, another huge thing is, and I said this on the pod, but render your bases from unused stuff and put them in folders. Like I literally have bases and just tons and tons
those are so
and
good.
tons. And these are all from songs that like never, I never did anything with, but I was just experimenting around trying to make sounds, some Skrillex growls.
Are you resampling these with the master on too, or are you just cropping them in the session? Because that's another thing I think people probably
I
should.
usually render them.
You render them out with the master on or no?
I don't ever put anything on my master. In fact, this only has millimeters on it.
Whoa,
Beautiful.
We got to get into that, but
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
keep
we're in
going,
the sound design
because
section.
that's-
but
yeah, that's great.
Very interesting.
Yeah, mastering in EDM I found is like more effective for adding like timbre and like stuff, like adding like a squash to it in a way. But like I don't know, like it's a lot easier for me to just do everything in the mix and get like the sound sounding right.
So you're like kind of like are you group mastering or you're bus mastering? So you're like, are you looking at it that way? Or are you just like, no, I'm just gonna let it just be what it is and it sounds good. That's fine.
On the main groups here, there's also nothing. These are just
There's no
organizational
limiters.
groups. Yeah, no limiting. I'll limit a sound on its own if I'm trying to limit the peaks. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
When did that start happening for you?
Let me think.
Someone show you that and you're like, I got to try that? Or was it like, I think this is because I know for sure we all just threw some fucking bullshit master we got from a friend.
Yeah. I don't
still
know.
do that.
I don't know if I ended up getting a. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that is what most people do for mastering, 100%. I don't know if I had like a really successful mixdown session and I didn't have a master on. I was like, I don't fucking need a master. I did notice that when I was starting to learn. So there was this like thing people were talking about for a while. It was like really like a popular subject or whatever called like clip to zero or whatever.
Oh yes, I
was
remember
like,
those days.
I dove into it and
Yeah.
like I couldn't fucking understand it for the life of me. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, fuck this. And I noticed like it was fine to not. And by the way, for a long time, my master only had a G clip on it when I was making dubstep. Well, when I learned that Ableton has a built-in clipper, I was like, I don't need this because it's doing exactly what Ableton is going to do to it anyways.
That's why Ableton kind of sounds good in the red a little bit.
a little bit. Dude, this is clipping.
Yeah, are we in the red here in this
Yeah,
track?
what are we hitting?
Because it's just a color, right?
Let's talk
hit?
about this.
That sounds sick.
Do it like that. Turn up.
Yeah, we're at 16 decibels over, and it's mainly the snare that's doing that. By the way,
Yeah.
If I didn't have the snare in, it'd probably hit like 9 or something like that. Let's see.
This is huge, you guys. Fuck the rules. Like you just you're
Yeah,
clipping
straight up.
16 dB, and it sounds mastered.
Let's see. Oh no, it's still hitting 16. Okay, so yeah, usually like the things that are clipping the loudest are going to be the transients because I have very
Right.
like plucky a plucky like mix down style, so I'll transient shape stuff and just let it like go way into the red, but it's only going into the red for like a couple milliseconds, if that, maybe even shorter, so it's like it's almost like inaudible, the clipping, you know. I'll always avoid sub clipping, like
Yes, that's different.
Yeah, it is. It's just because you're clipping over a long period of time and like it ends up kind of squashing your sound. You get this very particular clipped noise. I just don't like it.
Yeah, how loud is this song?
Let's find out. So
They're loud as fuck. -2.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Between
-1 right there.
yeah, between -2, -1, -3, and it would be a lot louder if it was like a more sustained heavy drop.
Yeah.
You know, this is like super one shot heavy, so there's a lot of like downtime that like the luff meter is picking up on, and it's
Yeah.
not, like, you know, compensating for that. I've been doing nothing on the master for quite some time, and I just think it's goated. I just think it's goated.
Are you a big
I
like?
kind of love it because then you're not like double mastering shit because
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
right
the
samples.
sometimes are.
Because no, the right samples, if you pick them, they're gonna sound loud as fuck. They're gonna sound limited already, right?
Right.
And then why are you doing it again? So it makes a lot of sense, even though we don't do that. You know, we
Yeah.
all have masters, but like,
But do you find like when you're working with Mello or anybody else, like not a lot of people do this. Like you
Most
come from
people let me do the final.
they trust you.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
dope.
just do it.
That's dope.
Because if you do get in a studio with somebody that is like, no, like I need to mix it. This only works. Like if you put a master on this track right now, it would be
It's
completely
done.
fucking shot. It would
Yep.
sound like shit.
Yep.
You know, which is probably why the original version didn't sound good.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. There's probably a
This is
saturator on that master.
specific thing that you. I mean, you could fix it. It would take a lot of time. You'd have to go all the way back, and
Through everything.
and then it might not even sound as good as what you have here, obviously, because this sounds amazing. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. And then just like, you know, I sidechain really hard.
Shaper box.
Yeah, I do shaper box. I'll do a shaper box with a output to the kick snare group. I always put my kick snare in like a kick K plus S thing and just literally have those doing audio sidechaining to the
Oh wait, can you show that? That's interesting. So that's just a save time thing. So the kick and snare goes to a group, and then that group is now the trigger.
yeah. So kick snare always exists in the K plus S right here, and they're clipped to fuck. Just the transients.
I love clipping a kick in Ableton. It
Hell
sounds so
yeah.
good.
Yeah, dude, Mello does clip kicks, but he doesn't clip the transients. He clips the whole kick, and it just gives like that old trap like
Yeah.
where it sounds like it's like in like a subwoofer in a car. It's just blown the fuck out, but it's like actually
Yeah,
like
it sounds
swag.
cool, yeah.
Yeah. So literally kick snare,
Standard
sidechain
curve.
into here, and then audio. This thing. So there's no MIDI trigger. I hate fucking writing a MIDI trigger.
Yeah, it's annoying.
So I'm glad that Shaperbox 3 added the audio thing because I can go back to sidechaining like I sidechained in Ableton before with the old Ableton compressor.
But if you use two different kicks, that's when it fucking sucks. Because you have a different kick on. Well, I guess no, you could just put them in the group like you just
Kick
did.
snare group,
I
baby.
didn't fucking think about that.
Yeah.
That's a nug right there.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You just
Welcome
smoked
to the
me out.
Nug Zone.
I realized that. That's so dumb. I'm always like, oh yeah, I like it, but this is why the reason why I don't use audio sometimes is because I can't do the sidechain thing. But yeah, you're right. If you just put them in a kick snare group,
Also, by the way,
good.
if you have a specific reason why you're trying not to put something in the kick snare group, you can just duplicate your shaper box and then just change the output of the second one.
yeah.
You know, I do that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Simple things like that just always blow my mind. If you're an EDM producer and you need some serious sounds, make sure you guys go to XLNTSOUND.com. They have everything you need from Serum presets, project files, remakes, and even free downloads for you guys. And check out all these different testimonials that all these heavy-hitting EDM producers are saying about XLNTSOUND.com.
And on top of that, use code TheExcellentShow at checkout to save 10% off your next purchase.
I'll tank through the mids here.
Yeah, keep going, dude.
So Eagle Scream, the original one, is up here somewhere. Nope. So this is from the actual original project file, right? And I made this. I have no idea how I made it. Like literally no clue. Synth something, right? It's definitely like synth based or maybe it's sample based. I don't know. Anyways, that's the sound. It needed more room, so I added more room. Just that, and then it was all texturing. So gun.
Oh, nice.
Bullets,
Ah.
and then that thing with this absurd EQ.
Yeah, I love it, bro. That's sound design right there, bro.
Yeah, right. And
Fucking
together,
ski slope.
you just have it. It just gives a little bit of a, you know, especially before that first hit, you can just hear like the little crunch. It's just, damn it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And it looks like you're also turning off the tracks too, so that when they to create that sort of push-pull too. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I'll completely just kill the volume of stuff when something else needs attention, especially if it's one-shot based. Like I don't let like usually my reverbs bleed into other parts. Like this probably has a good bit of reverb tail. It actually doesn't, but sometimes there's like a little bit of reverb tail. I'll just cut it. And yeah, the control of space, you know, like you really want to control what you're allowing exist at one time, especially with like heavily one-shot centric production. So it's called the Problems Womp. I made it forever ago in a song called Problems, and I was using it a lot.
So do they start in Serum a lot of times, or do they start from samples and then you just...
This is Serum. Yeah, I mean, that's Serum. This bass is Serum. The Eagle Scream was probably Serum with like vocodecs and stuff. I was using a lot of vocodecs. This is made on my PC, the original project.
Oh, nice.
And I could get vocodecs into Ableton. I can't on the Mac, but...
One thing I also want to ask you too is that I've noticed is I'd be curious for you to solo your drums so we can just hear the actual groove of the drums. And then also like when you're starting a drop, because it seems like you're the type of guy that's like, all right, sitting down, I'm getting to work, I'm starting with a drop. Are you starting with drums or are you starting with a bass line first?
It depends. I feel like sometimes I have more success if I start with the bass, but like, I don't know, it just really depends on the day. I'll start with either, you know what I mean? I feel like if I start with drums though, I like put myself in like a place where like the things have to fit in with the drums sometimes.
Yeah, instead of going in like adjusting the drums later back to what the idea is.
Yeah, you know, but I don't know. I feel like my whips are probably like half and half or 60-40 or something like that, you know? It's probably pretty close. Yeah, so drum group.
Nice. Ooh.
Just letting the sounds just take care of all of the stuff and literally just, I mean, you know, this is nothing.
Is there effects that are sweeping in between or is that all from all the throws? Because like I could have sworn, maybe that's just from all the throws you're doing on your basses and stuff. I could have sworn that there was other things in your drums than just that.
Here's bass group.
Yeah.
Do it like that. Turn up.
Yeah.
All of it, like that's just like it's basically like the entire brick of noise, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Do it like that.
Yeah, and things like you know, we were talking about how the OTT smear kind of leads into this womp. Like there's stuff like that around that just like aids the, you know about like the pre-flick on a kick and the pre-flick on a snare, you know what I mean? And that flick can be coming from anywhere. It doesn't actually have to be like married to the kick or married to the snare. It could be a part of like somewhere else that just like, you know, just gets the thing to whoosh correctly into, you know, the loud transient. So yeah, super minimal drum processing on this one. Yeah, usually my drums stay pretty dry. Like
your hi-hats are really interesting too. They're very like low key and they're just kind of driving.
Yeah, in this one,
they're not very audible, but like it's just carrying the groove around.
Yeah, way back there.
Yeah.
But it's the percussive elements in between the little ghost stairs and stuff.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Help
and
the groove a lot.
Where those sit, right? Like
Do it like that. Do it like that.
it kind of loses all of its like, you know, whatever you want to call it, like sense of rhythm without them.
Do it like that.
And super dry drums. There's a part of the intro drum. Oh no, this is not a drum. It's in a intro. Oh, intro drums and melodic. Yeah. So, this is from the original project file. Yeah, it was probably probably Serum. Couple layers of that I just thought were fine the way they were. So that pretty much stayed the way it was in the original.
Committed. I love it.
Yeah.
I also love that you're like not worried about shit. It sounded good. In the other one, you're like, oh, I like this. Like you're not trying to tweak it just to tweak it.
Yeah, for sure.
I see a lot of like younger producers like forcing themselves just to change it just because they think they have to.
Yeah. Sub got a little bit of a
a little UK subbage in there.
Yeah. And I think it goes away sometimes.
Right.
For the melodic ones. So yeah, little thing that was consolidated at some point. There was another version of the 150 project of this that like probably had like the Serum of that sitting there or whatever. I ended up resampling it though because I got so clean with this drop that I was like, I'm gonna resample everything. just to like really dial all the fades and get everything to sit perfectly, you know.
All right, dude, before we move to the next track, we got to see your lasers, bro.
The lasers.
How are we doing these lasers?
So so the lasers are somewhere, but the ones they're referring to are right here.
Do it like that.
Okay, so this is just it's rendered, but
the vocals in there too, or did you solo the vocal too?
So this is just one track. It's FX and backing, and it's from that previous version of this project that was like made to 150 originally.
Got it.
And I did this so I could get the fades right. You see the fade there.
Yeah.
Everything's
Reverb is
cutting
right there.
But all it is the standard, the old trustworthy. And then we'll grab one of these guys.
There she is.
Pretty close. It probably has like a saturator on it, and I hear a big cut right around here. Probably like boosted somehow in the mids. Yeah, and then it's just the ADSR if this pitch envelope is going to change everything about it. But yeah, it's just a little shorter than this, so probably like faster rate, whatever. But that's just the general vibes there. Yeah, so I make like all my lasers like this, just straight up, just coarse pitch and a thing. By the way, you get like some really cool sound design when you take your serum lasers and just shove like tons of crazy processing on it. So that's a cool thing. Sometimes I'll sound design like that. I'll put like a huge rack and then I'll just start sound designing in serum and just see what happens. But like, yeah, that is made out of a laser.
Oh yeah, so you're taking like simple sounds and then just over processing them
with
and
like a
just seeing what
growl
happens.
rack or something.
Yeah.
You know.
That's very creative.
But yeah, so that is just a short little guy like that, but it's rendered to audio. I'm so sorry. Yep.
So I noticed there's some very interesting names in this folder here, and it looks like most of it's your stuff, and then you got some other names of people.
Yeah. So one of my best friends a long time ago, his name's Rod. He goes by Volt. He used to be like touring a lot before he moved back to Australia. But one thing I saw him do, and I was working with him a lot in 2021, it's actually like a cool tip in my opinion. But every person that you're like in the studio with, or who you end up collecting a lot of samples like in the style of or something, just like make them a folder in your artist stuff folder, and just like add all of that there. You know, it like makes it easy because like, you know, I've got like John Casey's like collab in here, all that stuff. Everything I've got like from Mellows in here, stems, samples, whatever. I just know who it's from, like what it's referencing, you know, so it's not just like lost in my sample folder and I have no idea what it is. And it also helps like just with like quality, you know, because like, I mean, some of these guys like give me really cool sounds, you know,
right.
And I just want to like be able to just pull them if there's stuff that they said that I can use or whatever. So yeah, kind of an organizational tool.
Smart.
Yeah, and on the topic of organization, just really quick, like I think I have like the most goated sample organization ever.
Let's see.
Let's hear it.
Because
Let's hear it.
it's like it's very simple, and if I was like smart and really deep into it, I would tag everything properly with Ableton's search algorithm and all that. I do not do that though. So the way I have it set up is I have the artist stuff folder, I have a commission folder for any work I'm doing, ideas, which is like if I just have like a chord or something, and I'm like in a project, I have a drop, and I'm like, well, let me see if any of my chords would work here, like missed chords, G sharp minor. Okay, cool. So let's see what's going on here, and I can just add an operator and then listen to them. You know, and sometimes it works with what I'm doing, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's just like a really quick way to sort of have this little like bank of ideas going on. So there's the ideas folder. Organized samples, I like actually have everything set. So
into one folder, into one like master sample folder. So all your drum or all your kicks from different packs are in there. Or?
So I have the sample packs folder for this reason,
okay.
Right? Because like some of them I just want to have the sample pack and that's it.
Yeah.
But for organized samples, I'm like everything that I think is just like really good or really useful or whatever, I'll end up putting in the organized samples folder, so that like when I'm like just trying to write quick, I can go straight to my kicks, boom, go to the kicks, you know.
The go-tos.
vocals. Yeah, I mean, I have all these subfolders that explain what they are. So like in tonal, I have basses, brass, tonal loops, tonal miscellaneous, and then tonal one-shots. Miscellaneous is just all this random crap. Effects, alarms, ambience, downlifters, Foley, glitches, all that sort of stuff. Vinyl effects, drums, all the types of drums. So kind of like how you'd see a sample pack actually like sorted, you know?
Yeah.
But I do shove like melodic stuff and bass stuff into the same folder under the tonal folder, which just kind of makes it easy to have in one place rather than multiple.
And what's the fast way that you're moving from where it was before it's organized?
Yeah, how are you sorting it?
Like how are you bringing it into that folder? Are you doing it in Finder or are you doing it in Ableton?
If a sound ends up here, it should probably go in an organized folder.
But you know, so sometimes it moves it, and sometimes it doesn't, or it duplicates it. Do you care about that or no?
What do you mean it duplicates it?
Like if you drag a specific file from Ableton, it will duplicate that file and create a copy of it. Or it moves it out of its original housing folder. Sorry.
Right.
That's what I'm asking you. Do you copy it or do you move it out of the original housing folder?
I move it. So when I'm using it in Ableton, I know it's good, right? And like I might have like added it to the like the kick snare like little tag up here that I use a lot. I'll literally just go show in Finder and then I'll just fucking...
Oh, you do it in Finder.
Yeah, take that out. Put it where it needs to go, and then that's it.
And it's fine if it's out of a sample pack. You don't care because you want it. If it's getting moved to the gems folder, then it's a gem, and you don't care if it's not in that.
It doesn't matter because I know where my stuff is. It's in the artist folder.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's like all my shit's here.
Yeah.
And then all the good shit from other people is in here, and then all the general stuff that I just never sorted is in here. And then
I love it so far. I love the whole strat so far.
Yeah, I got a thing for racks. Any racks that I pick up, stems is nice to have just so that like. You know, they're out of the way of everything else. And then my splice directory is right there. And that's it. That's the whole thing. That's like
awesome.
Everything I ever use just sits right here in these like 7 folders. So that is Anxious though.
Awesome. So thank you so much for showing us that.
Hell yeah.
If you're a producer and you're not using project file remakes to help you get better, what are you doing? Remakes and project files are a great way for producers to hone their skills in song structure, sound design, and mixing and mastering. I know it's helped us out a ton and continues to sharpen our skills every single day. So if you're looking for the most accurate remake project files and a ton of exclusive presets and sounds, then you gotta check out our Patreon. We upload a ton of new content every single month for producers. From custom unreleased sounds and producer interviews to project files, serum presets, and racks. And don't forget, every single month you can post your track for feedback. When you join our Patreon, you get access to our entire catalog of sounds since 2018. That's 6 years worth of content and you get to jump right into it. Go check out the link in the description and find the tier that best suits you. Everything we get from our Patreon, we reinvest back into to get better guests and a lot more tutorials and content for you guys. Thanks for your support and let's jump back into the video. Let's get into the Mello collab, huh?
Please, yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So I said it on the pod, but this is the VIP of our collab called In the Cut. It's coming out just before Anxious. So Anxious is going to drop March, I think late March, I think like March 20th-ish. And then the Mello VIP is going to drop February 28th. All right. So, welcome to the In the Cut VIP project file. The main differences are pretty much the whole drop, and then I redid the intro. I left the bridge and second build pretty much the same, and the outro is actually from the original song, just straight up the original master. So, I saw like Dylan was doing that with Get Low. They had the straight up master in there, whatever. Yeah. So, okay, the reason the project looks scary, just for like disclosure, is I ended up dragging the original project file in here because the In the Cut VIP existed at the very first day that the In the Cut actual original existed, and we were choosing which one we wanted to use. And I did so much work to all the elements in the original, like for release, that I needed all of that quality like to be shoved into the VIP project because the VIP project was super bare bones still. Yeah. So instead of just using the whole master wave, I wanted to actually have like the ability to edit stuff. So I ended up dragging this is the entire In the Cut original project file in here. If I solo it, you can hear the actual first drop right there. But it mutes here. So the automation literally mutes at the drop, plays during the bridge, then mutes again for the second drop. So the intro, basically this turns into an intro group essentially, and then everything else is drop group. Let me just play a little bit of it real fast. So I'll kind of start with the intro. It being a VIP, I wanted just to have like an alternate take on most of like the main elements that you're hearing, just even if it's like slight. So our original impact is this guy. I think I added like literally just added this guy. Just to have like a different, so that the first second you're playing the song, you can just hear something slightly different, you know, which makes it obvious.
That. I super like that.
Yeah. So that's another reason I brought all the stems in here, right? So I could really think about those decisions. And then into the main part. So the original has this with drums over it. This whole, this. And also, by the way, just before that, the original has no break. It's kind of like that. So I added a break here. That pluck bass is from the original stems that he sent me for the idea. He had this, and then let's see. Just layering to get like quality.
Nice.
Serum perk.
Dude.
Yep. And then here's the original stem. Super nice. So there's that. It all leads up, and the lead takes over. So
It's a nice kick.
Thank you. Yeah, let me see what kick it is. Yeah, I have this fucking kick called Cool Trap Kick that I just like to use a lot, but
That's perfect. Nice.
I've had it for so long, so many years. But yeah, so the lead, the mellow lead is here. And this is in so many mellow songs. It's square based, obviously.
Yeah.
He made it with pigments.
Oh,
This
wow.
VST.
Interesting.
That's what I was talking about on the pod. You're like, any interesting things he does with production? He uses plugins like for a lot of interesting stuff. He uses a lot of interesting synth plugins and stuff like that. I had never heard of pigments before he showed it to me. So, so it was this pigments thing he was using.
Shout out Arturia, dude.
Yep. Here's his volume shaper rack that he sent me, which is just a LFO attached to a utility, but it gives the flutter. Kind of makes it glitchy and different and weird.
That's what you were talking about, is that he wanted to have like weird things around the synth.
For sure.
Sort of placing it, making it more interesting.
Yep. We got a reverb throw stack, OTT, saturator, overdrive, the huge. And then I have a layer here that probably is just supporting.
Right.
No high end there, just helping out the mids. Boom. And then I have one more. Doing pretty much the same frequency area, but
Sounds like Marshmello.
all that together. And then there's this little OTT clicks spot. Just helping with the
Sick.
attack, because I didn't get the attack out of the actual lead that I wanted, and I don't know how to sound design in Pigments. So I was like, let me just like take.
Dude,
I needed it
Pigments
to.
is crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, I haven't had the time.
How
to really
did you
dive.
make it? Did you just make a pluck version of the same sound and then just OTT the fuck out of it?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
right? Because I needed it to actually like be plucking with the notes changing, right? So I had to write the MIDI for it.
But you only do it on parts of it. Of the
Yeah,
melody.
some of it didn't really need it.
I see. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So there is the mellow lead, and then other things that are going on are a lot of it's from the stems that he originally sent me. So let's see this guy. Really slight, weird things. This is one of my favorite sounds. I use this shit all over the place.
It's a nice little ambiance.
Yep. This was like a big part of the stems that he originally sent me. This melodic line.
Oh, nice.
Which you'd never hear in there. By the way, I know you want me for my life.
Oh, yeah.
My life. I know
shit.
I've been telling her. Yep. Buried. Completely buried. It ended up getting
Creating
buried.
ghost notes and shit, though.
Right. And then these are the chord stabs. Listen how weird.
Future stabbies.
Listen to the
Really
the
cool.
release.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that a lot,
Scratching.
actually.
Yep. Yeah, he likes all that glitchy shit, which is really cool. I don't do like a whole lot of that, so it was fun to play with.
Marshmello can sound design.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
He can go in, dude.
Yep.
I love how he's showing project files now, dude. He's
Oh my God,
he's like
it's so
stoked
cool.
on it, dude.
Yeah, and you know what's silly is like people who are like, oh, he's showing it, but he's talking about it and he doesn't even know what he's doing. And it's like, bro, like, yes, he does.
Yeah.
Like,
if you only knew.
yeah, if a producer says like, I don't really know why I did this, I just kind of did it, it doesn't mean it's fucking ghost produced.
Right.
It just like
Yeah.
means they just made a decision. They don't remember what that slight reason for it was 17 months ago when they made the original whip. Like,
Right.
leave the guy alone. Leave him alone. So, yeah, FX going on. I use this a lot. Little guy there.
Clap crash, love it.
The best fucking one I've ever found. That Cashmere one's so good.
It's our favorite.
Yeah, the vocal chops are a shadow sample that I worked on. Little thing there.
Cool.
We got more effects going on. And then outside of that, it's just drums and then the chords. So the chords I added for the VIP. This was like the first thing I worked on. This is blue group down here. So yeah, your songs don't have to be this complicated to sound like this, by the way. It's just like a mishmash of stuff. Oh, here we go. Blue group. Cool.
Oh, I love that in the background.
Thank you.
I
Yep.
love stuff like that.
So this was like the big like moment that I wanted to make with it, and I was trying to like get like a big brass feel. I don't know if I necessarily achieved that, but like it's a warm chord stack, right? So the layers here, sky keys, doing the synths, operator. I love
interesting.
I love an
why
init saw.
operator for that instead of like a serum initiated patch?
Ha 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 ha! I love that you asked that question. Let me show you.
Thanks, I'm really smart.
Here we go, dude.
Okay,
Here
so
we go, baby.
so synthesizers have quality.
Yes, they do.
You know this.
Mm-hmm.
And like it matters, you know, like one of the highest quality synth, like software synths I've ever found is Silent.
Yeah.
So fucking
Sounds
high quality.
really good.
If I grab a saw inside of ye ol' operator and I grab a saw inside of Serum, best way to check the quality of a synthesizer is by taking a saw, boom, boom, and lowering the octave all the way. Okay, so this is what Serum sounds like, and then
Got some highs in there,
a
dude.
little better. So pretty low quality with Serum versus the nice crisp that you get out of operator.
Interesting.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
So just like that little bit of extra, like if I'm doing something with like straight up in it that I don't have to think about sound designing very much, I'll just choose operator over Serum every day just because of the quality difference. You know what I'm saying? Like Steve Duda made a fucking sick product.
Yeah.
That's why we still use it
Yep.
10 years later than it was released, right? Clearly. But like there are just like some inconsistencies that you just have to work around as a producer if you're trying to like just squeeze quality out.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So yeah. So sometimes, I mean, it's fine. This is why, again, with my Serum tracks, you'll see a lot on my basses where I'm like, oh, I'm cutting it off here. Okay, I'm actually going to do that because I just don't trust it to not make noise after this, you know? And I'll just mute my shit to just absolutely cut all the
love
gain
that.
off.
I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, so we're made of this. We're made of an operator. Brass ensemble, Ableton pack.
Sick.
Goated, another Sky Keys. Trumpets, Ableton pack. A quiet brass stab, which I bet you this is dub echo.
I love dub echo.
It's not dub echo. It's actually just a delay
I
with OTT.
love
But
dub echo.
I use dub echo a lot.
Me too.
Very phasey.
Yeah.
I like the brasses that you because you clearly sound design them. They sound like super phasey because they fit in the mix well that way. It's kind of interesting how you made them that way. They're kind of like, no, I guess maybe phasey is not the right word, but they do sound phasey.
They are.
But like it's good for what it is.
Phasing comes from the
the way-
hyperdimension.
Yeah.
Hyperdimension.
Yep, hyperdimension. And then sometimes there's like a phaser on this group, flanger, whatever. But so this rack is called the Vocal and Melodic Easy Rack, and it's just like a random rack of bullshit that I made a while ago that I'll just shove like melodic elements into and like usually get really cool results.
Cool.
And yeah, I ended up putting that on the brass because I didn't want the brass to be forward. I wanted it to be like way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can make yourself like cool little processing racks that just kind of add delay, add compression, add some reverb, squash some spots, whatever, it can be really useful. I use it on vocals a lot to make like vocal beds, but still, I mean, you can pretty much put any sound into this and get a cool
Yeah.
It's just nicer than having just a straight up reverb or a straight up delay, you know? It's like the reverb is already processed, the delay is already processed. It's all being squashed with an OTT. And, you know, you go from literally... Oh, and then you mentioned the slide, too. That's here. So...
Oh, yeah, but... Love those.
Yeah, and it just really helps with the... Yep, I could have pushed it more in the mix, and like I would have still been happy with it, but I ended up burying it just a little bit.
Atmospheric fillers is what we call them.
Yep.
Yeah, and then our subs here...
Oh yeah, what about the let's talk about the sub, because I feel like did you do the sub or the bass? Did Marshmello do it? Because he has like a specific bass that I feel like you hear.
Yeah,
his
so
mid bass, sorry. And
this one is it's a default current preset.
Oh,
that's
current,
an 808, and
Interesting.
I heard it. I was like, "That's a fucking sick 808." I just rendered it.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It is, yeah. I
It's
think
a
I know.
just
Yeah,
clean ass 808.
they have a nice. Is it their sub oscillator that they did in there?
Yes.
That was like
Yep.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up rendering that. I use it a lot just for, you know, simple bass tones, whatever. Yeah, cutting this guy out, and then it's in a simpler, so I can get the slides out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That is nice.
And then the whole group has this this automation of this guy on it. So I don't want to do it to the sub, but I want to do it to all of this, but it's just adding a slight ADSR to it. Yep. I cut all the highs from this probably for a reason. Because of the lead. The lead is taking up all the highs, so I didn't need this to be conflicting up there. And then, yeah, Endless Smile just for the final washout.
Hey everyone, I just want to take a quick second to celebrate the anniversary of Gorilla. It's been an entire year since we released the Gorilla series, and it's no secret why it's the most popular pack to date. So we've decided to do something really cool. We decided to create the ultimate Gorilla anniversary bundle for you guys. This bundle is going to include 400 Serum presets, a ton of samples, and 11 Ableton Remake project files from some of your favorite artists like Skrillex, Virtual Riot, and Fred Again. For those of you that have already purchased Gorilla's early access, don't worry, we got you covered. For the first time ever, we are actually including an expansion pack for Gorilla available on our site now. It's gonna have new Serum presets in the same style of multi-genre, and of course, 5 new Ableton Remake project files from Skrillex and Fred Again. And if you missed out on your chance to get all of the original project files from the early access bundle, we got those on our site for you too. So make sure you guys go check out the link in the description and go get your copy of your Gorilla's Ultimate Anniversary Bundle today. Let's jump back into the podcast. You use EQs a lot and modulate the EQ frequencies. Yeah. And I think a lot of producers do that, but that's like one thing that like I don't do enough. And I'm like, I want to fucking modulate EQs more, because it's like you have so much more options than just like a filter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was
Just pick
working
up little things like that.
I was working in the studio with Have the other day. You guys heard of Have?
No.
On the topic of EQ modulation, he did a cool little number on me, and this might help you out in your journey of EQ modding, but
yeah, they must be doing a ton of it with those type of like respaces and shit.
they got cool tricks, dude.
Yeah.
They don't use OTT
Really?
at all. You hear those basses? They don't use that.
Saturn. What are they using?
Fucking
What are they making him in? Serum or something else?
They're making them in Serum, and like I can't tell you how, because he showed me and he's like, "Please don't tell anyone, because this is my secret sauce and it's the last thing I have." And I was like, "Fine, I'll never tell a soul." But it's fucking really cool, and it's like
not OTT.
It's like a random ass plugin that he's using for
That's
it,
sick.
and it's not like a compressor. He just
I like
fucks his bass in a weird
his
way.
reason why too.
Homicides.
It's the last thing I have.
Yeah. So
That's so funny.
let's say I have a sustain bass.
That's nasty.
He's like, this is my Finnish accent. He's like, so he's like, so sometimes you can get like cool. This is not Finnish. So he's like, okay, I'm not gonna do the accent. He's like, sometimes you can get cool movement by just fucking taking a shelf and doing a little bit of fucking one of these.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And having it kind of be weird and like we could even fucking like that and go like that and maybe drop this guy out so that we can
Fuck, you're
You're
very fast
interesting.
with the automation
Interesting.
in Ableton.
That's we don't even think of that.
You know what he showed me is if you hit Option and then Shift. Oh fuck! There's a way to compress this wave, this red. You can compress it, go like
it's
that.
Just
No
option,
way.
dude. Just try option.
It's not just
No,
Option.
you're talking about it compressing
No.
both ways.
Yes,
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll ask him.
Get him on the line right now and ask him how he makes his respaces.
How do you compress a automation wave in Ableton again? Sorry, I thought it was Option, then Shift, but it's not. Okay, cool. He also has a Finnish keyboard, which is laid out completely different than this. So he'll remember. We were talking about it for a while in there. I was like, that's fucking crazy. You could do that. He is already texting me back.
Beautiful.
Option Shift, I think. Let me try. Okay, I'm gonna let him try. I trust him more. So build up is just the second half of the build up from the original. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested, I have this clap loop I always use.
Ooh.
Yeah. Fucking save your good stuff, producers.
Yeah.
Yeah, crowd clap there. I'm gonna kind of run through this quick. More stuff. Snare, so these two together. Right. More effects. Here's one of his stems. That's from the original or from the intro. Yeah, vocal trap comes in. Oh, different. So this is a vocal bed made with the vocal and easy melodic rack.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Makes sense.
There's that. More impacts. Skip over those. Yell chanting we've got in here.
Dope.
Okay, he told me. He said, Option Shift. Okay, and then you.
Oh, it's the corner. It's the corner. The cornhole.
So it's see these little squares? So you click the top middle square, Option, and then Shift.
And then it comes up. Now we're compressing. That's so sick, dude. That's a banger right there.
Yeah. There's a way to get it to not do there's a way to get it to not pinch, I think.
So pinching, fucking annoying, dude. Especially with pans. When you're doing pans and you're like, oh, I panned it too much. I like doing the left-right pan thing. I'm like, oh, I went to 50. 50's too much. Let me go to like 30. You have to fucking reset everything. So now I can just pinch it. That's so fucking helpful.
Yep.
Shift Option and then the little box thing.
Right. So there's a nug.
There's a nug right there. Smoke
Thank
it up.
you, Have. Shout out Have. They're fucking sick producers. HAYVE. Have. So yeah, build up. I'll kind of skip through that. Okay, so now our originals drop is muted, so it's not happening at all, and then the drop that is for this version is up here. So I'll just start with tracks I see.
Texture.
White noise drop. Made with texture, by the way. Texture Devious Machines.
Sick.
So goated.
Yeah, it's killer.
And then let's just break into this group real quick. So here's our drums.
Ooh.
Yep, so I got a decap attack and this release happening there.
Very nice.
Let's see, the cool trap kick is still there and it's not transient shaped. There's also nothing on this master, by the way. Let me see if there's anything else that we can hear in here that's cool. Oh yeah, so these are from a whip of mine. These cool little perks. Yeah, the ballet push clap loop. Yep. So another thing that I save for myself that I just use a lot for rhythmic purposes. So there's that. There's your drums. And then cymbals are pretty stacked up. I've got his cymbals from the original in here. And then some more stuff. So here's his originals. Here's another original. And then here's a remix I did. Hats. That's the hi-hat from my track Angel's Crest, and then yeah, everything else is muted, just testers. So
good to have a good open hat that works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I spent like 3 hours on it.
Yeah, dude, open hats are like so hat. Like they're so important.
It's very wide too. It's like a nice washy, like wide situation.
In effects, just got a hay sitting there, and then our mids are our whole thing. So this is like kind of fucking weird. It's gonna be hard for me to explain this because I think I did it like just to get out what I was trying to get out, and didn't like think too much about it. But the layers include this really gritty layer.
Something that would sound just so shit by itself, but it works in layering.
Yep, and that was one of the last things that was added. Another bass that I made for Shadow, and then our sub.
Nice clean one.
And then, yeah, all those together. So a big reason that this rack exists is that I can actually modify the pitch bend of the harmonic sitting above the bass in the main patch, right? Because like,
oh yeah, okay.
So a lot of it happens in the second drop. I'll kind of explain the rack a little better in the second drop, but for the case of this drop, it's mainly just taking care of the tape stop, right? So the actual pitch bend of the notes start and end. So there's that. Processing is, let me just go to the main sound because that's like what matters the most. Yeah, little like, oh, it's actually muted, so that's doing nothing. Ignore all this. Bass mono, whatever. A cut for where it's going to sit in the frequency spectrum. This is for mixing, like at a transition. This boosts the whole thing, and that's it. So it's just like a couple EQs. I know it looks like a lot, but there's really not a lot going on. Everything's kind of turned off. So yeah, and then this this was done with a 3 RTTs and a saturator. Just to bring out all the
Sounds
nasty.
Like it's like out of tune too. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a completely different patch, so it's just kind of weird.
It
It's probably
really
not phase aligned either, but just sitting in there, it feels right. Yeah, and without it. Yeah. So yeah, there's that guy. Other things that are happening in this drop. There's not a lot. That bass carries like a huge amount of the vibe. I ended up adding this like last, but I was like, this just needs to be a little thicker, so I made it thicker. Just kind of rendered out the whole bass, and then just did hyperdimension. Yep,
your vocal is almost like your vocal rack thing on it. Kind
yeah,
of.
Right.
Doing the phasey side thingy.
Yep. So there's all that symbol, and then that's muted, so it doesn't matter. And then cool, yeah. So that's pretty much the drop. It's just kind of allowing the cymbals, drums, and then this bass to take over. This Sultan thing, I really like this. So Sultan is really great at like, he has these like, you know how like we were talking about when we were looking at Anxious, how the OTT smear.
Yeah.
So he does that like with his own couple of sounds that he likes to use, and I found one in his pack, I think. Okay, this actually isn't even the thing. And also, I changed what it is by adding a 100% mixed texture to it. But basically, Sultan has really, really goated textures on his basses. But that's kind of what I was thinking about when I added this in, for sure. I just ended up needing a different sound, so I used texture to mask it. But it helps that bass movement happen at that one point where it flutters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it happens after. So it's woof, 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 and all the f is this sound.
Oh,
and it kind of
cool.
adds dimension. Whereas if it's off,
oh yeah,
lets the bass kind of exist in a space. Yeah.
So did you have to use a master because it was with Mello?
Final mix is literally what you're hearing.
Yo, that's so
awesome.
Sick, dude.
Yeah,
that's
fire.
So sick. It says something about Mello too, of trusting you and your sound and your skill. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you collaborate with somebody and it's like it has to be their way,
right?
Or you know there's trust issues almost with, you don't trust the person you're collaborating with. You know, maybe the writing part for sure, they trust you on the writing, but like something in their head, like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Trust with Mello is really cool. I think he's a very trusting person. Even when it came to like what we were gonna put on the EP that I did with his label. I mean, we had a session where he's like, let's just get together and like listen to all the demos that you have. And I was like, okay. So we got in the studio, we were listening through, and he's like, all right, just play through all of them. I'm gonna tell you which ones I like, and then save those in a separate spot. So I was like, okay, cool. So I play through all of them. He tells me which ones he likes. We ended up with like 8, and then he goes, all right, which ones do you want on it? And he just like let me pick.
That's sick.
He's like, yeah, I like all of them enough to go on a project. So like, and like there was one where he was like, are you sure you don't want to put that one on? Like, I really like that one. And I was like, I just don't think it fits. He's like, all right, fine. It doesn't have to go on there.
That's dope.
And that was it.
Very cool.
Yeah, super, like just very easygoing dude. There's that. Drop 2 is basically the same exact thing, but just going into the rack and talking about those harmonics is kind of cool. Okay, so if I guess this doesn't really pertain to the rack as much as it pertains to a separate thing, but I'm doing what I was talking about. So if I actually play this in the same bass group thing. just because of the way the bass is set up and it's really distorting these two harmonics together, right? So I needed to go to a different project or a different serum.
Oh yeah.
And if I go into the serum, the second harm is probably just pitch difference. So this one's 0 plus 12. I bet you the other one's like 0 0. Yeah, it's actually the same thing. I don't really know exactly what's going on there, but something was going on there where I changed it for sure. It might be like this pitch. Oh, you know what? It is. So this
Plus
actually
11.
Yeah, sorry. This 11 fucking pitch is like literally throwing off what the serum is showing, but essentially this is a different second harm oscillator
Just for
pitch.
that harmonic?
Just to get that note to sound proper, right? Cuz even over here if I take this guy and I do it, so let me remove the bullshit automation, you can really hear it fuck up.
Right.
Right? So that's an example, and then even if I try to pitch it up, it just loses all of
You're
its
problem solving. You're
Exactly.
essentially like being like, okay, how can I fix this? Because how it should work is not working. So let me try something else by putting it to plus 11.
Yeah.
And
The plus
you're-
11 is stupid, but yes, right.
And
No,
you're
but
keeping the sound too,
Yeah,
instead
you're
of
keeping-
switching the sound out to like something else.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
just doing it on those notes, which is great.
Oh, and then yeah, I guess last thing that's cool in this project is this lead guy right here. So
Love it.
That's dope.
Just a saw, baby. No TT.
yeah, and it saw underrated. Like
Love
I
it.
use it just nonstop. Yeah, and then you've got the little outro key thing, and that's all she wrote.
It's beautiful, man.
I feel like
Thank you so much.
this is a good sonic
This is.
bring us to a close.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Guys, we just had Viperactive showing us a track with Marshmello.
So cool.
Thank
I
you
just
so
sat
much,
in
bro.
the excellent studio
Yeah,
Damn.
baby.
for
17 hours.
6 hours, 17,000 hours.
To 7 more next time.
Oh yes.
Yeah, dude, we had a blast, man.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you
was
so much,
sick,
bro.
for
Yeah.
real.
Thank you for coming on, dude. It's this is always my favorite part personally. Like
The
jumping
end?
into the no in the production
Yeah,
segment.
of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? And
Yeah.
like seeing how you produce and how you think about things, how you problem solve.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for showing us, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next one, boys.
Yeah,
Coming back, bro.
dude.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We are Excellent Sound. You are watching The Excellent Show. And this was obviously, well, this isn't really The Excellent Show. This is Excellent Sound.
Yeah, this is excellent sound.
It's a production segment with
baby.
our boy, Viperactive. Thank you so much for coming, bro. Julian,
Thank you for having me, boys. Hell yeah.
like the video, subscribe, comment down below. Check out Viperactive if you haven't. Obviously, you just heard this guy's obviously an insane producer. Love you guys. See you next time.
Bye.